everybody. So this is the first video I've made like this. I apologise if it's a bit ropey. I'm struggling with the admin and the logistics of all. It's a video to show my Cyberpunk Airsoft project. I've called it the Arasaka JKE-X3 Akaoni Carbine prototype. Akaoni being Japanese for Red Demon, apparently. Just while I'm doing the intro, you see the box that I've set up for it. I wanted it to look like a prototype weapon from Arasaka security division. I have an airsoft setup that looks like a sort of Cyber Ninja that's got Arasaka themes like all over it, and I wanted a weapon that would go with that. So yeah, property of Arasaka, prototype stickers. There's a couple of those other stickers around the place. This is the case I'm keeping it in at the moment. That's what it looks like traveling. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to cut the camera, and then I'm going to go down into a little bit more about what it was supposed to look like, what I was going for, a little bit from an airsoft perspective of how the electronics work. It's got 6 different power sources, and yeah, we'll put it together, and hopefully I'll have a decent video at the end of it, so that if anybody fancies a project like this, they can see it's actually not as difficult as you might think. If you can visualize it, then there's probably something out there that can make a reality of it. So back in a second once it's all set up. No, actually cancel that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break off as many of the electronic components as I can so that you can see them individually, how they're put together, because they're a bit fiddly once it's all on to take it all apart. So I'll do that first, go through a couple of those bits, then we'll stick it all together. Okay, so this is the quick prelims, I suppose. First off, trace units. The way the trace units work in Airsoft is there is an infrared beam, and as the BB passes through it, it breaks that beam, and then inside here we've got a whole bunch of strobe lights that supercharge a glow-in-the-dark BB. And so when it pops out the end, it's glowing bright green, which if it's going at a decent pace makes it look a bit lasery. This particular tracer unit actually has LEDs on the front as well, so it sort of simulates a muzzle effect. If I just show you, if I switch this on now, as the BB passes through, you'll see that's the strobe effect. And that's basically how tracer units work. They've been around for like 20 odd years. There was only one company, Tokyo Marui, that made them for a long time, but now you can get them all sorts of different sizes. Anyway, that's how that works. Next up, this was just a purely cosmetic thing. So this is a torch and like a LED, I don't know what you would call it. This is like a LED unit, light unit if you like, but it also has a white torch on the end. So I bought this just for the lights on the side. You see I've got a yellow tape on here. They're so bright that I've gone to great measures to turn them down. So if I switch this on, you've got lots of different colors that you can cycle through. So that's like a flashing red. There's an emergency services, sort of red and blue, straight white, yellow. I'll stick it with the green. Now where this will sit inside the weapon itself is inside this hand grip. I'll go into a little bit more detail, but basically it was so bright I had to cover it up there, and then I had to, when I made the cutout in the side of the grip, I had to cover it up a second time. But you'll see once it's in there, it's still bright, but it's nowhere near as like distracting as it would have been. And then the last bit, which, like I said, it's a bit of a nuisance to take it apart and put it back together again, so I thought I'd get it out of the way. This on the top here it's called a PEC unit. So in the really real world, you'll see these on weapons, and what they're supposed to do is, what their function is like an infrared or a laser targeting like system. So you can use it as a rangefinder, you can use it to designate targets. In Airsoft, they sell fake ones, and it allows you to put an external battery, so you can have it still sitting. The gun looks like it's supposed to have this on it, but it's not actually doing anything, because we're not calling in artillery in Airsoft. And so what I was looking for when I came up with the idea for the luminescent wiring, so this is electroluminescent wiring. If you imagine, it glows when you put electricity through it. So that has a battery pack, and that battery pack is housed in here. It's got some foam in, as you can see, to stop it from rattling. But it's also sound activated, which was a happy mistake actually. When I was looking for the luminescent wire, I knew I wanted that, I knew what it looked like, but I didn't know they had a sound activated one. So that's now set so that it will only activate with the sound of a trigger pull, so the bang that it makes when you pull the trigger. I'll put that all back together and then we'll switch it on and I'll go into it in a little bit more detail. Last point to note, this PEC box has an outlet on the underneath here, and so you've got to feed that through, and that's where the rest of the wiring follows through into it. Okay, getting into it. So the base pistol for this is a Novritsch SSE18. This is what the pistol looks like if we take the silencer off. I've got two of them. This one I actually run with my ghillie setup. It's fully electric. You might have seen some Airsoft pistols when you fire it, the slide flies back. You don't get any of that on this. It is purely electric, and all of the gubbins to get it working, they're all in the grip here. As a result, it has these very low profile magazines. And you'll see I'm using high caps for the Akaoni. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to show what the base pistol is. It's actually loosely based on a Glock 18C, which is actually an incredibly rare fully automatic Glock. So for this, the X3, the Kenshin that it's based on is a tech pistol, which for people not playing Cyberpunk, that's think electronic firing guns, so something more like a railgun, and typically they look a lot more electronic. They look a lot more futuristic, a lot less sort of conventional. Would probably be a good word for it. So it gave me an excuse to make my Cyberpunk gun look nice and futuristic. So from the top we've got the Acer C, sorry, wrong. It's an Acetech Blaster C tracer unit. Already gone through how that works. The next piece along here is this round counter by Pancake Customs. Props to them. I had a look at lots of different round counters, and this is one of the cheapest, but it actually fulfilled my needs. You can change what the readout looks like. You can change how many rounds it has in. Every time it hits 0, you just push the button on the bottom and it'll say reloaded. It'll put it back up. You can, as you shoot, these symbols all gradually disappear as you're getting through it. Really, really great bit of kit. Very, I say not straightforward, but it's very intuitive. It works. It does the job. Now the way it works is that this unit is connected to this just before the tracer unit, and it works on a similar thing, an IR beam. It also uses sound, so as a combination of it knowing the BB passes through here and it hearing the sound of the shot being fired, that's like a double check, and it will take one off. As a result, it's actually really good for even full auto. It's absolutely bang on. I found that these magazines, which are supposed to hold 100, typically only hold 93. So I've reset it to 93. When that hits 0, the gun will start making a hollow noise. No BBs will be coming out. I put new magazine, hit reload, and we're back in. Okay, moving further along. This is a front grip, again, made by Novritsch, but it's designed for the gas version of this pistol, which is why it has a big cavity in the front. You're supposed to keep a spare magazine in it. However, the magazines for the SSE18, the electric gun, they don't fit very well. So it was just a cavity and a cool looking grip. That's why I've gone and put this LED torch in it, just to make it look a little bit more futuristic. Looks like maybe a secondary power pack for the rail system or something. Yeah, I think it does the trick. It gives the shape that I wanted it to, so I'm happy with that. So then moving a little further along, this is the Carbine kit. I think I've already gone into detail as to how the Carbine kit works. It has a folding stock on the back, which, as you can see, sits rather comfortably across here, meaning you can just use the pistol like one-handed if you like. Oh, I really need to sort the camera out. I think I'm way too close. Yeah, and it gives me a top rail, which is what I've mounted all the stuff on. So we'll get to this big PEC unit then. So that's the battery pack for the wiring system here. And if I've connected it, happy days. So what will happen is, and we probably won't see it in the light, But when I pull the trigger, it detects the sound and this will flash. Yeah, unfortunately, because I've got the light on, maybe if I kill this light. Yeah, okay, so that picks it up a little bit. It looks a lot better in the dark, but that gives you a sort of general idea. It basically flashes 3 times every time it hears something. I thought that looked nice, as I was trying to make it look like a fairly rough prototype to have some sort of exposed worky bits. That was a nice touch. And that's all this unit. And then the luminescent wire, which is, yeah, something like 6 feet worth of wire or something. It's not that much, maybe a meter or something. I've coiled it around some cardboard tubes and then put the coils into the cavity that's available here. Like I said, this sort of kit in the real world, when you pull the trigger, the slide would have to fly back and it would have to have an open cavity here for the slide to fly back into. That's just space with this particular pistol, so I've filled it up with something that looks sort of cool and techy. Next up is an Eotech sight. I don't think it's a real one because it didn't cost me 3 figures. If I pop that on though, I'm not sure if I'll be able to maneuver this properly, but that gives me no, I'm not going to be able to do it because I can't see the camera. That gives me, anyway, that gives me either a red or a green reticule. And I actually went for this one. I had it as a placeholder. I was just going to get a riser and put a small pistol sight on the top, but I put another one of these that I've got, like a tan one. I put that on just as a placeholder, and I got so used to how it sat and how nice it felt and how good it looked that I decided I'm going to actually get a red one of those and carry on with the red theme. And you can see I've got a flare well here, which is an extra piece from Novritsch. It doesn't have any function at all. It just was a little bit more red to put on it. I suppose last detail. Don't know if the focus is going to let me do it or not, but there's an Arasaka Acetech hologram on the back of here, restricted access. I thought that was a nice touch. Found those on eBay. That is pretty much everything that I can talk about with regards to the JKE-X3. I'm getting the chance to go and have a good play around with it this weekend, so hopefully I'm going to get some footage. I've got 4 of these magazines. You can see they've got the skinny start, but then they wrap up, thrown some warning tape around them to make it look like they're, I don't know, power cells or something for a tech pistol. Yeah, hopefully you can see it's not. It's a lot of stuff added to it, a lot of stuff sort of bolted on, but it wasn't difficult to do. There are a few odds and ends that I didn't use. This here was incredibly hard to find. I don't know why, but all it is a 90-degree airsoft rail adapter. So originally I was going to put this on the side here and have the round counter orientated upwards, but when I tried it, it just didn't look anywhere near as good. It sort of stuck out way too far. That's by a company called Project Airsoft. Quite well known for making adapters for the Battle Axe drum mag, but this is something else that they had on their shop, on their site, and I thought I'd pick it up, give it a shot. Having looked all the way through sort of all the regular airsoft sites, Google searches, Amazon, eBay, I couldn't find anything that would turn like something into a perfect 90-degree angle. So you put it on a rail and it turns it sideways. It's a simple concept. There's plenty of them that do it 45 degrees, like canted sights, but there just didn't seem to be anything I could find easily that would do it 90 degrees. Right, anything else to talk about? No, I think we'll probably call it there, and then I'll get a little bit of footage. It'll probably be grainy footage. My camera doesn't seem to like the dark very much, of what it looks like when it's shooting. And then hopefully I'll get some extra footage of me running around looking like some Cyber Ninja lunatic, shooting people with it. So if you stay to the end, thanks very much. I honestly don't care if you like or subscribe, but by all means say hello in the comments. Cheers.
Bass. Bounce. Bounce. Bass.